If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports news. Whether you are a Patriots fan or not, this is the perfect way to meet all of your sports needs and is a platform I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to catch me live talking about training camp recaps, etc. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and the New England Patriots are finally getting back suspended wide receiver Josh Gordon. You guys have been going crazy ever since the news dropped, commenting on my videos, going in and DMing me on Instagram. I mean, my Instagram feed is just going berserk with Josh Gordon reinstatement posts. It's just insane. Gordon was suspended back in December, and prior to that, he had been suspended a multitude of other times. News came out that he was stepping away from football, even though, let's be honest, he was suspended, and he was suspended indefinitely, which means there was no timetable for his potential return. Josh Gordon started his career with the Cleveland Browns, and then very early in the regular season last year, the Patriots traded with the Cleveland Browns for him, and he became a vital piece to the New England offense. He ended up playing 11 games with the Patriots last season. He was targeted 68 times and hauled in 40 receptions for 720 yards, 3 touchdowns, with a long reception of 55 yards. He also finished his season with the Patriots with 18 yards per reception. Josh Gordon actually became Tom Brady's #1 target. Believe it or not, it wasn't Julian Edelman. Over the span of the time that Josh Gordon started playing with New England and the period of time right when he got suspended, he was TB12's #1 target and go-to guy. He was actually the #1 target for the New England Patriots that season. Of course, he then gets suspended and Julian Edelman takes that over and then wins Super Bowl MVP as he rightfully deserved. Earlier this offseason, the Patriots also signed him to a tender. Of course, at that time, they didn't know if he would be allowed to be reinstated in football. They really didn't know anything about that. It could have been years since he was reinstated or if he ever played at all. But of course, they still gave him a contract, which he signed. So Josh Gordon will be signed for just 1 season. So he'll be a free agent when this season hits. And hopefully, of course, the Patriots can get him signed past that. But more importantly, hopefully Josh Gordon can stay clean. Commissioner Roger Goodell actually notified Josh Gordon himself and the Patriots that he will be reinstated to the NFL on a conditional basis, effective on Sunday, which is, of course, after our preseason game versus the Titans. Gordon will be able to return to the Patriots and attend meetings and engage in conditioning workouts and individual workouts. Gordon also will not be able to participate in the preseason game versus the Carolina Panthers the following week. That's just part of the deal, and really that's because Josh Gordon has been away from football for so long. He needs to get back into conditioning and really get back up to base with all these other receivers and all the other guys on the Patriots team. But even if he was allowed, I don't expect the Patriots to play him in the preseason whatsoever. But the most important thing here is that Josh Gordon will be able to play week 1 of the regular season versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is extremely huge. This is exactly what we needed because the Patriots, let's be honest, have a very depleted wide receiver group. And this is something you'll hear me reference in a video that is coming out because I recorded 2 videos today. And in one of those, I reference if Josh Gordon comes back. And of course, I record that video and then Josh Gordon comes back. But of course, the Patriots are very banged up at that position. Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Maurice Harris, Philip Dorsett, Demaryius Thomas, Cameron Meredith, just all of our receivers are extremely banged up, minus guys like Braxton Berrios, Dontrell Inman, who of course are still really fighting to make this roster. Josh Gordon was really played on the outside for the Patriots, and mainly that's because of both his build and his frame. He's a 6'3", 225-pound wide receiver, and he really showcased that with the Patriots last season. He was really good at going up and getting contested catches. That was really his main thing with the Patriots. Something else that he did extremely well was his ability to create yards after the contact. Gordon was uncoverable when it came to running those slant routes with Tom Brady. Of course, we all know Tom Brady loves those slant routes, and just a simple couple-yard slant route to Josh Gordon really was able to turn into a 10-plus yard type of play. Of course, the Patriots being unsure about Josh Gordon kind of intrigued them to go and draft wide receiver N'Keal Harry, so it's going to be really interesting to see Josh Gordon and N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman in the slot, and that's going to just be extremely deadly because you have 2 guys who are able to make contested catches on both of your right side and left side of the field. really just big 6-foot receivers. Then you have Julian Edelman in the middle, a really small, shifty guy, very quick, and is able, of course, to get that stuff done with his connection with TB12. This entire offseason, we've talked a lot about Josh Gordon. Not even necessarily this offseason, just ever since he got suspended, we talked a lot about Josh Gordon. I think I've made like 4 separate videos involving Josh Gordon. And as we all know, Tom Brady, earlier this offseason, it was about in June, I believe, he had a private workout session with Josh Gordon. That was very big. Everyone went crazy. But of course, he's really trying to keep him involved and keep him ready for when he was potentially ready to be back in the NFL, and I think that's really going to benefit him. Josh Gordon, ever since being suspended, has also worked really hard on keeping his body maintained and working out. He's been extremely big on working out ever since being suspended. He's posted a lot of that on his social media, and the guy looks even more jacked and even more ready for this football season than he did when he actually played with the Patriots this past season. All in all, the Patriots getting back a guy that knows the system, that has an extraordinary special connection with the quarterback, that being in Tom Brady, is something that at this point, the team seriously needed. Now, of course, again, it has been a while since Josh Gordon has played football. He hasn't participated, or because he wasn't allowed, in any offseason programs, not OTAs, not minicamp, none of training camp, which just concluded. So he's going to have a lot of catching up to do, but keep in mind that he is along than really any other receiver that Bill Belichick could, 1, bring in free agency-wise, or 2, bring in trade-wise. I'm one who definitely believes that we have seen a change in Josh Gordon ever since being suspended. He's really gotten religious. He's found his belief in God. He's really changed around his ways. And the teammates that have backed Josh Gordon up since he's been suspended has just been really heart-melting. New England's offense definitely needed a spark, especially with these pass catchers, and they definitely got it back with Josh Gordon. But Josh Gordon is back in football, y'all. He's reinstated. What are your thoughts on this move? I bet I already know what a lot of you are going to say, but of course, I do want to continue to know your comments. But make sure you guys like this video. It really helps a lot. Make sure you guys also subscribe if you're not. And if you would like to get some Patriots Global merch, I will leave a link in the description below. Like always, if you guys would like a shout out on here, all you got to do is send me a picture of you rocking your Patriots Global merch, whether that's a phone case, sweatshirt, regular shirt, tank top, whatever it may be. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows when go to the Patriots Global family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.